Welcome back to What RT Noobs with General Disturbance, and this is a T-46. It's a Tier 3 Soviet light tank, and it's located on the north spawn of Abbey. And it's being commanded by Indiana Dell. And battle is about to commence. Now, what can I tell you about the T-46? Well, it's a derivation of the T-26 tank. It was actually built during the 1930s and did see service with the Soviet Armed Forces, but they didn't build that many of them, and the thing was that it was discontinued after many transmission faults and the high cost of manufacture. It's faster than the T-26 and it carries a variety of ammunition, and in this particular case we can see that he's carrying the 45mm gun. And this can carry the 37mm ZIS-19 cannon. That's that automatic cannon which can fire an awful lot of very high powerful shells, but unfortunately it's got poor penetration, so it can do a lot of damage very quickly, but it's got very poor penetration values. So he's moving off down the west side of the map, hasn't found the enemy yet, but this is a tier 3 battle. So he's expecting to see the enemy soon. There's a fair number of M2 mediums, and of course that's the medium tank, the US tank, which fires HE shells. Okay, now he's spotted one of the enemy, and it's a Locust. That's an American Tier 3 premium, and he takes him out with 3 rounds. You can see he's got quite a fast fire rate. Fires 2 rounds in there, but no, and he's using APCR at the moment. And there's on those MTLS, which looks a bit like Batman, the shadow. I don't know if you've ever spotted that. Yes, it's got the ears of Batman. Right, well, he's turning around because he's spotted there's a T-127 in the other pass, and that T-127 is pulling back, but he's also spotted there's a T-46 near the cap. Okay, and I think he's going to try and take out their MTLS of the enemy team as well as the T-46. And I think so. He's going to this gap, so he's going to shoot through. He can see the T-46 outline, puts a round in. Nope, misses that one. Gets that round in. He's going to have to move. Unfortunately, the rock's in the way now. But there is an MTLS below. Oh, there he is! Okay, he's come up. Locks on. Now, although the other one's got 2 rounds shot, and he takes him out. The reload on this 40mm is actually quite fast. Okay, he's got an MTLS for company, and he's gone down the rock, but he can't see that T-46 at the moment. There's a Panzer 1C over there. Oh, now he can see the T-46, and he's come this side. That's fatal error, because he'll take him out. And he does. Very nice. Okay, now they're at a disadvantage. They're down 4 tanks at the moment. And a lot of tanks have turned up on the Western Pass, and most of them are going to be difficult to take over, because one of them's an M2 medium, another's a Marder 2, and the other's a T-127. They've got quite a tough hull. The hull on this tank is fairly lightly armoured. So, there's the M2. Fires around him. He's got to watch out for the HE. Oh, he gets a big hit from HE shell, but he takes out the M2. That's one of the big dangers about the M2 medium. If they can fire a single round in and hit a weak spot, they can wipe you out. Very powerful HE howitzer. Okay, now, where's that Marder got to? There's also that T-127. He's firing APCR. So he should be able to penetrate the armour of the T-127. His penetration is 110mm. That's more than enough. But he's only got 4 rounds of ammo left. There's the Marder. Oh, he's fired one of the APCRs at the Marder. He should be firing HE. Shouldn't be firing APCR, and he's going to run out of APCR now. He's out of APCR, and he's firing standard AP now, and he takes out the Marder 2. But he's still got to deal with that T-127. He needed that APCR for that tank. He's got sloped armour on the front, which makes him pretty effective at bouncing rounds. He's got his own T-127 coming up behind that other T-127. He might be able to distract him. And then he can move forward and deal with him. Yes, he is. Okay, now he's going. He can help. Oh, and the other one, T127, takes out the enemy. And so now it's back to the cap to see if that Panzer 1C's turned up. And he has. And he's been hit by the Marder 2. And he's headed over this direction. Oh, and the Marder 2 takes him out. So Indiana Del can now turn round and head back in the opposite direction. He marks on the minimap where he thinks that they should go. And I agree, actually. He might as well have a look over the enemy cap. And the T127 is coming with him. Now, in all this excitement, we didn't show that the Indiana Del has 5 kills already, which means if he gets one more, he's on the Top Gun. Now, he's going to have a quick look through these bushes, see if he can see anything. There are still 3 enemy out there. 2 T-29s, which are quite big, the premium tank that Wargaming gave at Christmas, and an IKV-72, and he won't survive very long if he turns this tank over on its side. You need to be careful at this level. If you hit a rock, you might be able to flip your own tank over. It's what they call TC parking. And that's a little joke about a certain streamer we all love, who parks his tank like that quite often. Okay, no, he can't see anything at the moment. T-29s were last seen by the enemy cap, and they might still be there. Okay, the best thing to do is to actually go with the T-127. Stay with him all the way, because 2 tanks acting together can actually overwhelm an enemy they come across. So his best bet is to stick to that T-127 as close as he can. Plus, of course, that T-127 is actually being driven by quite an experienced player. You see that little star next to his overhead symbol shows you he's a blue rated player, which shows that he's actually got quite a lot of experience. And he's now having a quick look over the enemy cap to see if he can see anything, because the enemy probably can't see him. As long as he stays away from any of those gaps, they won't spot him. Now, I don't know if Indiana Del or the T-127 have 6th sense for their vehicles. It's very unusual to see a vehicle with 6th sense at this tier, but he might have. Now, the one thing about the T-29 is it's a big tank, so it's easy to hit, but it does have a fairly powerful gun, which means that they can do a lot of damage pretty quickly. Now, Indiana Del's decided to separate from the T-127, and the T-127's been offered to platoon. And he's platooned with the T-127. Okay. So they're going to work as a unit. Now I think what's going to happen is that Indiana Del will go ahead, spot for the T-127, who will fire from on top of the mountain at any of the enemy that Indiana Del sees in the cap area. Okay, he's cutting across because he doesn't want to go through too much open ground, not too much in a straight line. He needs the protection of that ridge line, but he's going to have to poke his nose up here, and hopefully he'll be able to use that rock there as cover as he does, because the enemy could be behind any of the bushes in the cap area. And he's done one quick look already and didn't see anything. I think he might be going round to the front entrance now to see if he can spot anyone around there. Nobody, as far as he can see, in the Abbey area. The Marder 2 is coming down, and I think he's going to go down the East Passage. Now, the one thing we can say is the IKV is actually under the command of somebody who's very highly rated, a Unicum level player. So he's more than likely going to be trying to pick off these enemy as they come close to the cap from an ambush position. And I would not be surprised if he was on the east side of the battlefield, or east side of the cap area. Well, Indiana Del's being very cautious. He's just poking forward to have a look and then pulling back before he can get fired upon. I think he's expecting that he is going to get fired upon. The T-127's coming down to join him. The Marder's staying in the pass, so he's going to cover any shots that go at the T-46 from just close to the cap entrance. The T-127's gone up onto the cap. Okay, now Indiana Dill's going to join him. Oh, he got hit! And he got hit from the Abbey. There's the IKV. Okay, that's the Unicum player. And he fires a few rounds in. The 127 is probably going to take up position to try and shoot at the IKV. Oh, he's hit the rock. He wasn't watching where he was going. And that has given the IKV a chance to get his dial in his aim. But the IKV can't fire anymore, so the rock's in the way. That tends to indicate to me that he can go up onto the cap area. But the question is, where are those T-29s? I think they are over on the... Yes, they're over on the east side of the map. On the east side of the cap area. They were hiding over there. And I'm not sure why Indiana Dill's going off in this direction. Is he going to try and circle around and approach the IKV from a different angle? Does look like it. If so, he's going to have a very long journey, because he's going to have to go all the way up and come all the way down the other side to try and get at those two T-29s. So he's down to 40% of his health. Now, even though the Soviet army stopped using the T-46, they still used them during the Second World War, and especially during the Winter War with Finland. And of course, the Winter War is covered in the depiction of the Mannerheim Line, which is the map formerly known as Arctic Region. Okay, now he's coming up onto the centre of the map into the Abbey Courtyard, but I think the IKV will be waiting for him. I'm pretty certain that that IKV is going to do his best to fend off any attack. Is he here? Yes, he is here. He's still here. Oh, and he's caught him by surprise! And he finishes off the IK-70T2, and that picks up his top gun. Now, can he deal with the T-29 from here? Well, he's now gone unspotted, and the T-29, well, he's on the move. Where is he? You can just about see him there. No, he's lost sight of him now. The Marder's firing at him. Right, he's over in the corner of that map. Now, they may be waiting for the T-127 to start capping so that they can then fire on him and pick up a defender. Even if you're going to lose the battle, you are certainly then going to pick up an epic medal. But note, the T-29 are going up the river road and they're headed for the cap. There's only one of them left. The T-127 managed to take out the other. There he is. Okay, he's headed this way. I think he's trying to fight off the T-127. Put some round into him. Okay, Indiana Del, that rock's in the way. Can't hit it at the moment, but I think T-127 will get him. And he does. And that's the end of the battle. So the platoon ends with 8 kills. And the win 8 for that battle was 6287, and that's the 1 minute hooter. So they managed to finish it with 1 minute to spare. Let's have a look at the end of battle stats. And it's an ace tanker for Indiana Del in the T-46. He also picked up a duelist medal for killing 2 tanks that did damage to him during the battle. And he got a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle. And finally he picked up a top gun for getting at least 6 kills. And we can see them there. Let's have a look at the team scores. Well, he got the highest damage, 854 hit points. He got the highest number of kills, 6. And he got the highest base XP, 775. He fired 30 rounds, got 19 direct hits, 18 penetrations, did damage of 854 hit points, of which 53 were at more than 300 meters. He received 2 hits, 2 penetrations, both of which from the IKV. He hit 6, damaged 6 of the enemy, and he killed 6 of the enemy. On a premium account, he earned 19,448 credits, but he got 10,000 credits for the personal missions payout, and after repair and ammunition resupply, and the ammunition was fairly cheap, even though he fired a lot of APCR, he still ended up with a profit of 2,319 credits. Now actually, if he fired less APCR and more AP, or maybe even some HE, he would have made quite a big profit overall for a tier 3 battle. He received 1,163 XP, and it was ×3 for the first victory of the day, and he picked up a personal missions payout of 582, bringing his total to 4,071 XP altogether. So it was quite a profitable battle. But I'm sure that if he was to actually load standard AP ammo, I think he'd be a lot better off and probably enjoy the battle even more. You only really need to carry APCR when you get a difficult opponent such as that T127, because the sloped angle, the angled armor on the 127 can be quite difficult if you're facing him from the front, so you need that extra penetration to punch your way through the armor. But thankfully he did have a T127 on his own team who was able to take that other T127 out, and that meant that he didn't have to use APCR on that T127. In fact, actually, he had run out of ammo by that point, so he would have had to have taken it with standard HE, AP or HE. So, if you enjoyed this replay, please give it a like and do subscribe to our channel, and hopefully it'll be your replay that I'll be featuring in our next video.